I'm back outside the garage. Got a little project going on tonight. Probably not going to show up. Get my little smoker going. Let's see. It's 226 inside. Nope. I must have poked all the way through. Yeah, dig it. Alright, hold on a second. I need a glove. I guarantee you. I got this really fancy Inkbird thermometer deal. It's got 6. Let's see. Let's try that. Up to 6 inputs. So I typically use 1 for cook chamber temperature, and then the rest for meat temperature. That's all right. So 198. Ain't no way. I'll keep an eye on that. Anyhow, because that meat's only been in there for like maybe a half hour. There's no way it's 208 or whatever. What is it saying? 208. There ain't no way it's 208 degrees inside that brisket. That's what we got going, is a brisket. Anyway, back out here on the 302 Super. Back to the project at hand. Over the weekend, or late last week, Dad went and picked up the cylinder blocks. I got them from him last Sunday maybe. I don't remember what it was. It's been might have even been Monday. I don't know. No, I think it was Sunday. Whatever. Anyway, I got the blocks back, because if I get the blocks cleaned up and ready to go, then I can get those back on the crankcase over there, and the pistons that are cleaned up, and get the rings back in those, and then we get the side plate back on, and we get all this put back together. Those put back together, and we can put some paint on it and roll that back in place, and then we're all ready until we get the heads back. Yeah. So one thing I still got to do on the blocks, I got to get Mr. Armbreaker hooked up to Mr. Dingleberry, and hone out the cylinders. I'll probably gonna do that later tonight. I did break down and buy a couple more cans of the custom mix spray paint, and I've been painting stuff. Motor's gonna look great. Tractor's gonna look, whatever. We'll see. Yeah. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on there. And then kind of a side note, 445 oil pump. I called good friends at Welter's Farm Equipment out in Verona, Missouri. Google them up, you'll find them. If you need molding parts, they got it. The shaft here, the oil seal was bad. I'd ordered one. They sent me what they had listed as the right one. Wasn't right. Called back, said, hey, one I got smaller. I don't know which one of the welders ladies answered the phone. She says, oh, hey, look, there's a handwritten note in my book that says some of them might have a smaller seal. I says, that's probably what I need. Anyway, so I got that coming. The process of cleaning stuff up on the blocks. Okay, back over here. Go back over here. Back over here. This tube here, I think it goes there. It goes between the block and oil pump, water pump, block and water pump. And then this tube here goes over here, and it goes between block and block. When I got them out, because I got new O-rings. When I ordered the gasket set, they sent new O-rings. When I got them out, I got to looking. I don't know if this is going to show up. It's probably, I hope it does. It's just there's a line of pit. There's a really good shot if it'll show up. Right there. There's a line of pitting. This longer tube, there's an obvious, if it shows up, come on. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. There's an obvious line here, obvious line here, and I think that's where the O-ring sits. And I decided that I wasn't going to get this deep into this rebuild and put questionable parts back in. Now, if I was a complete cheapskate, I would maybe mix up a real thin batch like JB Weld or something and skim it. And if I had, and especially if I had a metal lathe where I could coat this with some kind of a filler and then spin it and polish it back down with some fine grit sandpaper, I would maybe try to save them. But I think according to welders, these are like 25 bucks a piece, and these are close. This one's close to 50. But I'm not going to get that far in tearing this thing completely all the way apart and putting it back together and fixing it up to fix oil leaks just to have a water leak because I didn't change those pipes out. So we're changing those out. They should be here sometime next week. They had them in stock, and they also had the hopefully the correct smaller seal for the 445 water pump. When I got the blocks back, I had sent them to the machine shop and they put them through their chem tank, cleaned them all up, no paint, whatever, but it's been a month or two since they've had them, so it's getting some surface rust. So this one's already done. I've been using some Rust-Oleum rust reformer on them. I don't know how well it's going to work, but we're going to try it. Good coat of that on that block there is done. Now that it's done, well, it's not done. It's done with that. These blocks have these petcock coolant drains in the side of them. This one actually came out of that block. Most of this one came out of this block. So I'm probably gonna, because it's brass, because it broke off flush, I'm probably gonna try to get the correct tap drill size drill bit, drill it out and tap it, because I'll be tapping brass out of the cast, and I'm hoping the brass is gonna tap easier than the brass is gonna tap easier than the cast, and we'll be able to just tap it right back down. And if it doesn't, you know, we'll put some sealant on the new drain cocks when we put those in. But I gotta do that on this block, and then that block is ready to get the rust reformer. I guess still gotta clean the this plate here. It goes on top of the heads, but there's no hurry on that because to get the heads, it doesn't matter. Oh, excuse me. It's been a long week. But that's kind of where we're at on the 302 project. I've got, of course, typical fashion, I can't just stick to one. I've got this project here. I don't know, it's a horse and a half, horse and a half, 2.7, whatever it takes. It's a little Briggs engine that came off of a small wagon corn crib drag thing. It's got a huge gear reduction unit on it. It had been running, and then it quit, and then the drag got donated, gifted to me, whatever. I started working on it down on the farm. Quickly realized that it was a little beyond what I needed, what I could do out in the barn. Actually caught it on fire because the mag was making spark, and it had a stuck valve, and as I was cranking it, rolling the flywheel back and forth, it fired and made spark and actually set off I don't know, it was J. I don't know if it was PB Blast or whatever I was using. Anyway, so the kill wire for the mag, got to replace that because we burnt all the insulation off of that. And, that got a little warm, but not horrible. I think if I can get this wire replaced, this wire, I think I can save this. I don't know. I have to look at it more with my cheater. Oh boy. Boy, I hope you guys remember how that was on there. Anyway, talking with Dad earlier tonight, we kind of decided, I started cleaning it up, hosing all the grease and paint and stuff off of it, and we've kind of decided, you know what, it's on an antique machine, working an antique show, let's leave it old looking, so we're not going to clean it any more than it is. I do think I'm going to take the head off, might even pull the valves out just to clean the stems and whatnot, because like I say, there was a stuck valve. But that's a whole nother project not related to this. As I work forward here and get a little better cleaned up, I gotta do something with that rat's nest of wiring. I want to get the lights working, and I think a lot of these wires here that are cut, can you see those show up? I think those cut off wires are light wires. I don't know, but I'll trace the wires probably trace from the wires back up towards the switch and figure out which wires go to the lights. And then when I get power back to the system, I'll figure out which terminals do what and go from there. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff cut off and extras and whatnot. Well, yeah, we'll go from there. But even if I don't get any of that done, I want to get the engine cleaned up, painted, put back together. Because I really think this old girl's got some more snot in her than she was showing. And we get ooh, these bad boys right here. They're not just another shiny face. They're right there. Oh, that'll show up there. That's a 40 over. There's a real good possibility. I haven't looked to see if there's part numbers or anything, but 40 over might actually be original Moline after overbore pistons, because I think Moline sold 20, 40, and 60s, and then M&W had the 100 and a quarters. Being that those are 40, those are probably a factory Moline overbore kit. So I want to get these cylinders honed out with the dingleberry on the man killer, and get rings on the pistons. After we get the water pipes, because you got to have the one short water pipe between the blocks when you put the blocks back on the engine. Is there any other way to get that in there? So I gotta get, and I've got new O-rings. Speaking of O-rings, right there's one of the old ones. It's actually pretty hard. It came out down in here. They didn't come out very easy. They don't and they're old and hard. They don't want to comply. We'll try this real quick. I'm probably running on longer video than normal, but you can kind of see. Get in there. Come on. How? And usually to get one out, once I get started in there and get it to where it's kind of starting to roll. See, that ain't even wanting to start a roll out. There's a little bit. Anyway, I will typically work my way around, taking my knife and trying to dig in and try to roll the seal out. And eventually I'll get enough spots, at least enough length in a or enough spots in a given length where it kind of gives up and it just pops on up into the in here into the bore. Anyway, I still get that one out. If you're watching this, if you haven't pulled an O-ring out, an old O-ring out of a thing, and you're waiting on me to give you technique on how to do it, well, this is not the video for you. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, boy, she was almost there. If I wasn't filming, I probably could have got it that time. It's so close. So close. Come on, film what you're doing. Oh, there we go. Haha. Got him. Got him. Now if I can just find him and get him out of there. I can see him. He's right there. Come on. Boy, it's a good thing I've got the patience of. And there again, it's really gonna just jump out of my hand and fall on the floor. Yeah. It's as far as O-rings go, it's really stiff and crusty. Like I say, I'm this deep into the rebuild. I'm not gonna risk a water leak for I don't know, a couple dollar O-ring and even a $25 piece of pipe, $50 piece of pipe. Probably wouldn't be so expensive, except it's got these joggles in them. If a guy could just cut a piece of pipe that length and stuff it in there, but there's nothing to keep it. The reason for the joggles is there's just nothing. I mean, that's what she said. Anyway, there's just nothing to keep it from going too deep, except for the joggle in the pipe. And I've worked in manufacturing. That's probably not an easy process, especially now for no more than they're going to be making. I understand the market. So, you know, that's where we're at. And I got a whole bunch of bolts on top of the motor there that need to get cleaned up. With the brisket smoke going on tonight, I probably all day tomorrow smoking as well, at least in the midday. I'll probably try and get those things on some kind of cardboard box or whatever, get them all cleaned up individually, and then give them all a coat of primer, maybe even a light coat of paint, depending on how things go. That's a turd because it's broke. That's a bucket of stuff that needs run through the Obama gas parts cleaner, and so we can get to the valve cover and get it cleaned up. But again, no big hurry until we get blocks cleaned up with pipes, so we can get those set down. Yeah, that's kind of a later project. Anyway, whew. Man, I can make a short story long like nobody's business. Still working on that, working on that, working on that, and that. So this is one project, two projects, three projects at the same time. I try to limit myself to one that died. I'll back up over here a little bit. Anyway, mini Jeep. So it's like a 20 by 30 garage. That's what I got. If I hit the lottery and could build a dream shop, I don't think I'd build it much bigger than this, except it would just be my shop and I wouldn't have to share this side when the weather's nasty with Mama and Mini Jeep. It would just be one tractor here instead of all the way over there against the wall, be in the middle. But anyway, I digress. Again, squirrel. Trying to think. Anywho, 302 Super, 66 302 Super, making progress. Crankcase is mostly clean, probably ready for primer paint. But I'd really like to get the blocks on it with the pistons and stuff, and crank and tight torque down on the crank, so I can put the side plate on, so I can just paint it all at once. I don't know, we'll see. Anywho, all right, this video is way longer than normal. I don't have my cheaters.